Hello, this is our newest series called PinHead Podcast featuring Ethan Griffin. Thank you for being on my show today.
Thanks for having me, man.
So I want to hear about just bowling in general. What do you have to say about it?
Bowling in general. Oh, man. Bowling in general is probably the biggest adventure that I have encountered, mentally and physically.
What about it would you have to say about those two words?
Mentally and physically. Everything. I've always said, to bowl, you've got to keep a strong mind, and your game has to be always on point through your brain and physically shot making.
Yeah,
like actually
sure.
Bowling. It's if your game's there, then your game's there. If it's not.
Do you always walk into a tournament with that mindset, or what kind of goes through your mind when you walk through the doors and lace up?
When I walk through the doors and lace up, it's probably, it's like a ritual. It's like, if you watch the pro guys, sorry, this is probably leaving a bad shadow on my head, but if you watch like all the pro guys, their thing is like clearing their mind, staying at ease, They're habitual.
Right.
Randy Peterson said that bowlers are they're just players of habit.
You're right.
So it's it's like a routine. So when I walk through the doors, I just like, it's another day doing what I love. Let's make the best of it. If things don't go my way, if my pins don't fall, then it's just.
You think that's what makes it like kind of mentally tough, where you have to have like that mental toughness?
Right. You got guys that come in and they're like, I'm just good, and that's okay. That's great. If you think you're good, back it up.
You're right.
But then you've got the guys that like, well, if I succeed here, then I'll be satisfied here. And I'm just one of the guys like, if the pins fall, they fall. If they don't, I'll live to bowl another day.
So in this next part, we're going to talk about who you are outside of bowling. So what would you have to say about that?
Who I am outside of bowling.
Besides a TikTok star. What's your TikTok again?
E_Griffinator. Go laugh at him,
It's really good.
Yeah, let's make people smile. Let's make people laugh,
So outside of TikTok, what else do you do? And outside of bowling?
I work at a warehouse called Bisque Imports. I currently drive a box truck. I work my 40 hours a week. When I'm not on the lanes, in my free time, I guess, I love spending time with my beautiful girlfriend, Natalie.
There you go.
We have a lot of fun together. She's a lot of fun, she keeps me happy,
That's awesome.
So we have a lot of fun together. We just chill. I'm a person of rest. When I'm away from work and I'm away from bowling, I like to rest.
Okay.
I keep my head on straight and my shoulders are broad, and just. So I'm a son to James and Julie Griffin.
Proud parents.
Yes.
Very proud parents.
Thank you, Mom and Dad, for everything that you do for me. Without y'all, I couldn't pursue my dreams as a bowler. So thank you for that. And my brother,
Devin.
My brother Devin. He's general manager of Bojangles in Belmont. So proud of him and everything he's done. So he supports me 100%, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So thank you for that.
So it sounds like your parents and your whole family has your back. But let's talk about some of your tattoos that's on your arms. Would you like to do a little run through about that?
Yeah, let's do it, man. I've got my tulips. My mom's favorite flowers is tulips, and I've got the breast cancer ribbon on the inside of my arm there. My mom was my hero, so she went through a lot with everything, and that was probably my biggest. I played baseball when she went through that, and I had big dreams for baseball. So yeah, I just kind of got some ink to symbolize for her. I get a daily reminder that my mom's a part of me.
You're right.
So of course, I've started the Johnny Cash leg sleeve. So
I'll make sure I put it in there. I would like a separate date, but yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. But like, yeah, I sat through that. I've got one on my ankle from my uncle. It's a Converse logo, and instead of it saying Chuck Taylor, it says Uncle Jeff.
Oh, that's
he was he was a big impact, you know. And my grandpa, which is actually the reason that I become a bowler, you know, he was my best friend. You know, he lived with us for a little bit.
Oh, really?
And yeah, when he got sick, I just kind of, you know, put baseball aside and just started bowling. But anyway.
And here we are. Now you have how many titles in your youth career so far?
Oh, titles. Goodness gracious. I've got 3 titles. I have the 12-bagger Masters.
And many more to come.
2018-2019 season. The 205th Timothy Spencer Rice. Teresa Lade, she runs a phenomenal tournament. I was fortunate enough to capture that title in North Charleston, South Carolina. And my most previous title,
there you go,
which happens to be Tough Shots, and that was in Gastonia,
Liberty Lanes.
At Liberty Lanes, which is pretty close to home here. And I'm hoping more comes. If not, you know, I could put down the ball and say, hey, I've won every tournament series that I've competed in. You know, at least once.
Are any of these, do you feel like you are more accomplished one than another, or are they all equally the same?
Sorry, my phone's going off.
Let's put that part out.
Yeah. So, I would say my first one, with it being 12-bagger, you know, thank you for all the people who are associated with 12-bagger. You guys are phenomenal. You run a great tournament. And, but yeah, that was like the monkey off the back, you know, that really lit the fire underneath me, because I have been bowling for competitively 4 or 5 years now, and it was like, you know, hey, you know, why don't we try and make the cut? Hey, why don't we try and make the second cut?
Right.
Hey, what
kind of baby step towards
it? Yeah, you know, it was like back to, you know, if my pins fall, my pins fall. So when I started making the progress, you know, I really wanted it then. You know, I was like, I gotta get that first title. If I get the first title, and everybody was telling me, everybody was encouraging me to where like, hey man, it's coming. Like you can tell, like you're progressing, your game's going away, and it felt good. So yeah, that first title, it was something. It was like, wow, I can relax now. I can say I've won 1. And then I won TSR, and I was like, wow, I can say I've won 2.
It's like a big accomplishment. But to have all 3,
but to have
a huge
to have one of everything, it was like, you know, me and you were talking at dinner.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, hey man, would you be satisfied if your youth bowling career stopped today? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. I can say that my youth career was everything that I wanted. You know, I bowled 300 as a youth bowler.
There you go.
I did that in a year of me picking up a bowling ball.
And I have still haven't got mine yet, and I've been bowling since I was 8, so 10 years now, and I haven't got mine, so that's really impressive.
So yeah, I mean, I checked that off the list, and then, which I did that at a TSR. But anyway, I've won one of all 3 of the series that I bowl in, so yeah, absolutely, I'm satisfied. And who I am outside of the bowling center, or just being around the bowling community in general as a whole, is, you know, that it takes a big part in that, you know.
It really does. The cool thing about bowling is also a lot of the people that you meet through the qualifying rounds, and you can match play.
Oh,
is there anyone that special that you always like to look forward to?
Absolutely, man. There's certain people that
there's plenty of people.
Yeah,
like, that come to mind.
Yeah, that when I just walk through the door, it's like, you know, hey, who can I strike up a conversation with today? I want to give a shout out to my best friend, Patrick Phillips. He's always one that, you know, hey, yeah, where's Patty at, you know? Charles Bostic, you know.
He's another good one.
Yeah, he's
Mixed mob.
Yeah, he's a heck of a bowler, and a great friend. You know, we've always talked about, you know, bowling balls,
life.
Yeah,
we can talk. Yeah, me and Charles. Yeah, we talk about like anything really.
Right.
Or South Point Plaza smoothies on a Snapchat story or urethane.
Yeah.
You can talk about anything with that guy.
Yeah, he's just an all-around great guy, and there's a lot of people. There's probably way too many to name. If I could just go down the list, you know,
this video would be forever.
Who has really impacted with me, you know, like just who I am as a person, inside and outside as a bowler, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And just like you, like many other people, there's a lot of other people who have a great background and just great people in and outside of the lanes.
Yeah. See, the thing about the whole bowling thing, you know, when we're there competing, and you know, you hear parents get on their kid, you know, you need to do this better, you need to do that, and that's, well, let's cover that real fast.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So, parents, if you're there to support your kid and you're there to, you know, like cheer them on, don't coach them. Don't coach them at all. Because as a bowler, and I kind of sit back and I watch, you know, these things go on, it's like your kid is going to end up putting down their passion, what they're passionate about.
Yeah.
Very quickly. Because it takes a toll.
It really does.
You know, it's like, oh, you should have threw that ball better. And it's like...
And as a youth bowler, the last thing you want to do is like disappoint your parents. Like,
right.
Like nobody wants to do that. And I assure you, and I can speak for many other youth bowlers, like we don't want to like let you down or anything, and we just don't need the extra added pressure.
Right.
And we're just there to enjoy the game because that's what we love to do. Right. And we like to grow bowling and,
you know,
enjoy the sport.
Now, if your parent is somewhat educated on the sport and you're out there making a fool of yourself, yeah, you should probably listen to them.
Yeah.
The sport isn't cheap. It isn't cheap at all. But if you're just getting on to them and they're like, oh, why'd you miss that spare? And you're just like, do you think I did it on purpose?
Yeah.
Like, it's
like
just,
now.
Yeah, that it's a lot of pressure to see other bowlers there to do the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Let alone, it's a lot of pressure to pick up a bowling ball and say, yeah, you know, I'd really like to please my parents today.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
So,
and the thing about bowling, it's also like an individual sport. It's not like a team where you want a lot of other people to win. It's all about, in a selfish way, it's kind of all about yourself at the end of the day.
It is all
but
you.
You honestly want, like, you cheer your friends on whenever you get knocked out. But whenever you're in that match by yourself or going to someone else, like, you need to just do what you got to do to kind of close those frames and kind of do what you can to win that match.
Right, absolutely. And one of the biggest things that pops into my head as I'm going into match play, you know, after making the first cut, you know, I've always told myself, you don't win titles in the first 6 games. You just don't do it. So if you have a bad game, recover. No big deal. Shake it off. Just make the next round. And then after that, it's make match play. If I can make match play, I've got a shot at a title. You know, that's where the title starts to slip in. You know, hey, I've made it this far. Why would I give up now?
You're right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, match play. The biggest thing that pops into my head is, you know, just slow down, take a deep breath, make a good shot. Give it all you got. Give it all you've got, 1 ball at a time. You know, 10 balls a game.
Yeah, and the thing about match play is, like, it doesn't really matter what's happened in the qualifying rounds or anything else before that in the previous matches. It's just that one match in those next 10 frames. So,
you know, one thing bowling has really taught me as a human being is, you know, live for the moment.
You're right. You're so right.
You're waiting on your turn and you're just relaxed. But take that outside of a bowling alley. Live in the moment. You know, you're not promised tomorrow. So just soak it all in. Just stop, you know, shoving future plans down the drain. You know, you just gotta, you know, make it happen.
All right, so in this next part, we're gonna talk about which tournament do you think defines youth bowlers?
Which tournament defines youth bowlers? That's big, man, because, you know, obviously we bowl 12 bagger, we bowl tough shots, we bowl TSR, you know. And those tournaments, they're all fun and they really get some experience underneath you before taking the next step. But junior gold, man, junior gold,
junior gold.
That
because like these three tournaments, or primarily these three tournaments are the ones for like our state, and then it goes region, then it's like the whole country. Right. So just having like the best from people like in Texas, California, New Jersey,
Puerto Rico,
Canada.
I mean, it's massive. I mean, there were over 4,000 people contending in junior gold of last year that took place in Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was to say that, you know, hey, where has bowling taken you? Like, I've seen the country doing what I love.
Yeah.
I've seen the inside of a bowling alley in a different part of the country. So,
and it's almost like you get a different feel through these different bowling alleys, from like Liberty to like Centennial, or even through somewhere.
Carolina Lanes in Charlotte plays 100% different than Park 10 in Charlotte. So,
and then you go to lanes that you've never even been before, like different states. And so that's really cool.
And then, like, for instance, Indy, you know, we got to bowl on, you know, Woodland Bowl was one of the biggest, nicest, most phenomenal bowling alleys that you've seen the pro guys bowl on. And then, like, you go to Michigan, Thunderbolt Lanes, where the World Series of Bowling is.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that to say, yeah, I've bowled where my idols have bowled.
Yeah, where the best in the world compete.
Yeah, I mean, the best of the best to ever roll a ball is bowled on the same lanes that, you know, I've competed at.
Yeah, like, history is made throughout those lanes. Like, it's not just wood or synthetic. Like, it's a completely different atmosphere from the history and the things that just go on in that place on every single pair of lanes.
It's phenomenal. It's astonishing just to think about, you know, like, yeah, I've walked and bowled on the same approaches and the same lanes that the best in the world, Jason Belmonte's stepped foot on. You know, I mean, he's even been to Huntersville and Mooresville, where the 2019 U.S. Open was held. You know, so. And
not only all these pieces of history going on, there's also plenty of other bowlers that come out there chasing the same dream you are, which is to win the Junior Gold National Championship. And
but Junior Gold, man, that just to see all those people, and they split it up. It's, you know, in the first little segment we did, you know, we talked about the mental.
You're right.
Like, your mental state of mind is just overwhelmed. You get 4 games over 4 different days.
On 4 different patterns, too.
On 4 different lane conditions.
With only 5 bowling balls that you can use. And you cannot switch up or change the surface in between, and you just pick 5 and just go
at it. I mean,
go for it.
It is just, you know, it is just brutal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really puts your game to the test on like how versatile or your spear shooting, or just how much you can string it up. And then also the pace can be super slow sometimes if there's any lane problems going on, or pin setters, or deadwoods going on.
Right.
Like, there's so many factors that we always have to consider, and just to stay in that moment and be at this pace, there's just so much that makes it a test.
I mean, you walk into a bowling alley your first day of qualifying, and you're just like, wow, I get 4 chances. I get 4 different games.
And that's it.
Over 4 different days on 4 different oil patterns. You're just like, wow. You know.
And some of the squads are early, like 7 in the morning, or they can last till like 11 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, you can bowl depending on your squad. Like, let's say Monday, I can walk into a bowling alley at 7 o'clock in the morning, half asleep, and you're just like, hey, you got to wake up. You got dreams to chase. And then there's other nights where you're like, oh, your squad's at 7:30 at night, and you just leave late, and you're
and sometimes for me, like, the sleeping, you just like, all I can think of is like, wow, it's like, this is it. Like, you only get this opportunity one time, this 1 week, and you just have to make the most out of it, and just, again, fill those frames and just stay in it as much as you can. And it's never really over until, like, all 4 days are over.
I'm pleased with my junior gold history. You know, my first one, I was way down there on the list, and I was just like, wow, these guys are good.
Yeah.
You know, they can I mean, we're talking about like you could separate 50 different spots just by one pin. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
One pin.
Like every pin counts, and like in the smaller tournaments, like in North Carolina, for example, like the cut can be like it range from like 30 to 40 pins, but it really gets down to the pin. So like even if you have a split, you really just want to go for count instead of just go for it, because you never really know how it's gonna add up at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just I've competed in. Let's see, my first year was Indy, then we went to Cleveland.
Cleveland was fun.
Yeah, and then we turned right around and went to Dallas, Texas, and then we just got back from Detroit, Michigan last year. And for me, it was 4 different experiences.
Yeah.
Just because of the lanes, the atmosphere, the environment.
Yeah.
You know, it all adds up to every bit of a million different factors.
Yeah.
That factor into things. I mean, it really gets down to what the weather is like that day.
That is true.
I mean, in Indy, it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and we had to be at the bowling alley, and we had to get there. And you have to get your bowling equipment out, and it's pouring rain, and everybody's mad because their pants are wet, and they got a bowl. You know, you walk into the bowling center and there's wet floor signs everywhere, and you're like, don't step on the carpet in your bowling shoes.
And bowling is one of the only sports where you don't want your shoes to be wet.
Right.
Because it's not like basketball where you have it in a locker room and you can just kind of pull it out and you'll be okay, but bowling is like you cannot get your shoes wet.
But, I mean, even before you put your shoes on, just the slightest little thing can just get you out of your mental state of mind, and it's just...
There's definitely an atmosphere that goes on. Like, you kind of feel the pressure just, again, knowing everyone's after the same thing and only one person can win it.
Right.
And then not only that, then there's also, like, college coaches that are out there recruiting. Like, there's just so many things. Like, you always see all the Weber guys coming out, and you see the recruits going on. So you're really put to the test, so you can't, like, be frustrated or, like, hit a ball return or... Right. Anything like that, like you just have to be on top of your game.
And you stay classy. You know, people are not gonna, they're not gonna look at you and go, well, that guy's got an attitude problem, or that guy over there, he's just too nice. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have like some conservative ways about you. You know? And then there's other ways you smile and nod and make people happy. You know?
And one of my other favorite things about Junior Gold is what happens the day before the qualifying starts, is when you got to meet all the pros and that's one of the most fun days for me, with playing frisbee or golf or whatever it is.
Right.
Like just kind of nice to see those pros just help you out, or even help you critique your game a little bit, or just learn something, or just get an autograph or take a picture of one of your favorites. Like the whole week is really cool, but definitely in those qualifying games, it's such a brutal test.
It is. I mean, if your game's not there, I mean, like I said, you get 4 chances. I mean, and that's saying a bunch. I mean, you can be like, well, how do you feel on that certain oil pattern? And you're just like, well, I shot 2-0 first game, and then second game I shot a 140.
Yeah, and then like you go from like here all the way to like here.
And then you have to put yourself in that state of mind where like, I have to make those pins up. Like that 140 is not acceptable. Like you're running out of time, frame by frame, spare by spare.
Yeah.
Like you really see how important your spares are, because like I said, you've got 1,200 different people in your age division, and 50 of those spots at a time are divided by 1 pin.
Yeah. And there's a reason why the best people in those divisions are still just fighting for, I just have to at least make the cut. And that can be the biggest goal for some people, and a lot of people don't even accomplish that.
Right. And I mean, for a tournament that on that big of a like broad spectrum, the fact that you have to qualify to bowl in these tournaments, like you have to pay your junior gold fees and then earn your spot. Like if you pay your junior gold fees and you do not make your spot,
like Junior Gold may not be the tournament you want to bowl in.
Yeah, it's just
the way
not
it
for
is.
you. But I was fortunate enough to qualify for Junior Gold, my very first tournament ever as a bowler. You know, I walked in and people are like, wow, you're doing stuff that nobody's really done before. And I'm like, what's that? And they were like, make the next cut.
Yeah.
at your first tournament, you know? And then it was like, wow, whoa, we just heard your name called. And I was like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, you're going to Indianapolis, Indiana. I was like,
yeah.
I am?
It's like, first you think, wow, I just drove 2 hours for this tournament. Then now you're thinking, wow, I got to drive 10.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you know, I've got the spot. And you just have to latch on and just run with it.
A lot of people think about that whenever they, like, as soon as the tournament is like about to start, and the announcements is always about your junior gold qualifiers and making sure that you pay for it. So if you have the opportunity to get in it, you can also try to shoot for it.
Right, and
you can't not know what junior gold is if you're bowling in a decent sized tournament.
Right, and honestly, it's what blows my mind is you have people that go to a tournament and they're like, I don't care about the tournament. I don't care how I finish up the tournament.
Yeah.
I just want to qualify for junior gold. You know, I want to go say, yeah, I've competed against 1,200 people in my age division and
finish like in the top 300 or so.
Top half is great. Top 3/4 is great.
Yeah, top 3/4 is great.
Top 16, you're phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're good. Okay. One of my best friends, Kenny McFalls. You know, he led.
He made top 300 game in.
Yeah.
Broke it for the 10th one with the pit block.
That was in Cleveland. You know.
Yeah, Cleveland. Yeah.
He led every day, and he finished top 16. And the dude's just phenomenal. You know, he throws it good. So just to be able to say that. Yeah, I finished.
The whole country, I finished in the top 16.
Yeah,
that is a lot to say.
Kudos to you, man. You know.
So shout out Ken and McFalls.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Ethan Griffin, I want to say thank you for joining my first episode in the PinHead podcast. So
yeah, man. Once again, thanks for having me. I look forward to doing many of these with you, just to sit down. You know, for those of you that have watched the video that you know we just made or been a part of. Ask questions in the comments.
Yeah, we would love to answer.
Just random facts, like what's your favorite color? Just
anything you want to know. Give us ideas for the next podcast.
Yeah, man. This is a lot of fun, and I look forward to it.
I enjoyed it. So follow him on TikTok, Instagram. Subscribe. Follow the Instagram Pin Action Photography. Yeah, TikTok is E_Griffinator. If y'all want to go laugh at me lip syncing and dancing. And pouring chocolate syrup on my beard, you know, that's fun too. But Instagram is E_Griffinator as well. Facebook, Ethan Griffin, you know, everybody needs a friend on Facebook, so. There you go, that's an ad, so.
Yeah, man.
We'll catch you on the next one, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man, thanks again.